Hey, Renegades, hope you're doing well. If you're new here, why do I call us Renegades? Well, if you're here, if you're a Christian who loves the Bible, studies prophecy, and can see how the kingdom of darkness operates in the world, to those powers that be, you are a renegade. You don't bow down to their oppressive rule. You don't sit on the fence. You fight hard and educate yourself every day on the things of God and his kingdom of light. And that's what we're all about here. You defend yourself, you defend yourself and those you love against the enemy's attacks through prayer, love, and obedience to Christ. You take time to learn the things of God because you know that a lack of knowledge is what destroys God's people. And just by being here right now, you're fighting against the powers of darkness. So to the enemy, we are renegades. So let's wear that mantle boldly. All right, so today I want to talk about something that's been buzzing around headlines recently, quantum computing and the wild idea of multiple universes, or what scientists call the multiverse. Now, you might be thinking, what does that have to do with my faith? Well, and prophecy. Well, we're definitely going to dive into that together to see how these scientific claims intersect with our biblical beliefs. But before we get too far into it, please don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to turn on all notifications. Also, don't forget to check us out on dailyrenegade.com, where all of our full videos, all of my full videos are available, most of which aren't available in full on YouTube or anywhere else because of censorship issues. So it's the only place you can get all of it. Where you also get early access to all videos. So not only do you get the full videos, the full amount of information, but you also get early access. You get it before anybody else gets even the clips on YouTube. And again, I don't put everything on YouTube. Most of the stuff I don't put on YouTube. It's at dailyrenegade.com, again, because of censorship. And also at dailyrenegade.com, you can fellowship with other like-minded believers in our community page. So that website, once again, is dailyrenegade.com. We welcome you to join our family of renegades. All right, so let's talk about quantum computing. The main thing that I'm talking about today is this claim that quantum computing, especially recently, has shown evidence of the multiverse. Let's dig into that and see if that's actually true. So let's talk about quantum computing in a way that hopefully won't make all of our heads spin. So regular computers, just so you know what quantum computing is, regular computers work with bits, which are like tiny switches that can either be on, which is a 1, or off, which is a 0. That's really all they do. But quantum computing, it's like giving those switches superpowers almost. So first off, instead of bits, quantum computers use something called qubits or quantum bits. Now, qubits don't just have to be on or off. They can be both at the same time. And this is because of something called superposition. So imagine if you could flip a coin and until you look at it, it could be heads, tails, or even both. That's kind of what superposition is like. And because of this, a qubit can represent way more information than a traditional bit. But here's where it gets more interesting. Qubits can also entangle with each other. So entanglement is this weird quantum phenomenon where two particles become linked so that whatever happens to one immediately affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. And this does this in literally zero time, even if it's two particles on opposite ends of the universe. So this means that quantum computers can do calculations in ways that we can't even imagine with our regular computers. They can solve problems by exploring all possible solutions at once, not one after the other, which can take a long time, and that's how traditional computers work. Now, how does this actually work in a computer? Well, quantum computers use quantum bits to perform operations, and these operations are based on the principles of quantum mechanics, which is the science of very small, even smaller than atoms, very small particles like quarks and photons. So instead of using simple logic gates like in classical computers, quantum computers use quantum gates, and these gates manipulate the state of qubits, allowing the computer to perform these complex calculations. But there's a catch. Quantum states are really, really fragile. So they can collapse if you measure them or if there's a tiny, tiny bit of interference. And this is why quantum computers need to be kept super cold, really close to absolute zero. It's to minimize any type of noise or disturbance. And because we can't see these quantum states with our eyes, because that would collapse it, it would ruin it, we need sophisticated methods to control and read them. So while quantum computing is incredibly powerful in theory, making it work in the real world involves overcoming these significant technological hurdles. So, just in layman's terms, quantum computing is like playing chess on a board where pieces can be in multiple positions at once, and moving one piece can instantly affect another piece far away. It's not just about speed, it's about a whole new way of thinking about computation, one that really could change everything about how we compute data today. But it's complex, and we're really just at the beginning of this quantum journey. But for our topic today, Google's Willow chip, which has been in the headlines, apparently can solve problems in minutes that would take the fastest supercomputers we know now billions of years to crack. And even more, they're claiming that there's a connection between how this chip operates and the idea of a multiverse. They're saying that it actually lends evidence in some way. So let's, and I should mention too, if you want the show notes for any of these videos, I have them available as a downloadable PDF at dailyrenegade.com. So if you go to the video page on dailyrenegade.com and find this video, you just scroll down a little bit and you'll see a little download link for the PDF, and you can get all of my show notes. So you get all the information, you can read along with it, and you have it for your own study. And by all means, you're free to have that. That's a free gift for members of Daily Renegade. You have to be a member to get it. But anyway, so multiverse theory and quantum computing. Let's delve deeper into what these claims about a multiverse entail and why some computing experts believe that quantum computing offers evidence for it. So the idea of a multiverse, and I've talked about this a lot on this channel, but in the context of quantum computing, it's largely based on what's called the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. So this interpretation was first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett in the 1950s, and it suggests that all possible alternate histories and futures are real, each representing an actual world or universe. So in simpler terms, every time a quantum event happens with multiple possible outcomes, instead of one outcome being realized, all outcomes occur, but in separate parallel universes. So if you were to flip a quantum coin, in one universe it lands on heads, and in another it lands on tails. And in this interpretation, both of those universes are equally real. That's what they say. Now I'm going to get into later why biblically I don't think this is an accurate definition or representation of how reality actually works. We'll get into that in a bit. But when computing experts like Hartmut Nevin from Google's quantum AI team discuss quantum computing in relation to the multiverse, they're pointing to the behavior of qubits. So a qubit in superposition can exist in multiple states simultaneously. And when these qubits interact to perform computations, they're exploring all possible solutions at once, which is why quantum computers can solve certain problems exponentially faster than classical computers. So the claim here is that this computational ability might actually involve interactions with parallel universes. I put emphasis on that word might, because they're not saying that it does. So Nevin and others argue that the extraordinary speed of quantum computers can be explained if we consider that the computers are occurring across multiple universes simultaneously. Now, essentially, in this idea, each possible state of a qubit could be thought of as existing in a separate universe where the computation is being carried out. And when we see the result, it's like we're observing the outcome from one of these universes where the computation was successful. So this interpretation ties into a concept called quantum parallelism, where a quantum computer, because of this superposition idea, can perform a vast number of computations in parallel, or so it seems from our perspective. It's doing these computations in parallel. So to these experts, the mind-boggling speed and efficiency of quantum computing in handling calculations that would take classical computers almost infinite time suggest that perhaps these computers are not just processing data within our universe, but are somehow accessing or being influenced by other universes in the multiverse. It's just it's a theory. It's kind of like they see the result and they're trying to put an interpretation on it. I've talked a lot on this channel how there's a difference between interpretation and observation. So what they're observing, what they're observing is true. They're observing that these quantum computers are really fast, but the interpretation that they're putting on it, that's not as rooted in reality as the observation. So they're kind of guessing, you know. So they're saying that because it's so fast, it could be that it's actually operating in parallel universes. However, when they or in a multiverse, but when they say multiverse in this context, they're not talking about physically traveling to or interacting with these other universes in tangible ways. Instead, it's a theoretical framework to explain the phenomena observed in quantum mechanics and computing. Basically, they're saying that the physical reality of quantum mechanics, as demonstrated by the power of quantum computers, might necessitate, a multiverse where every quantum possibility plays out, giving us the computational power that we see. Now, this idea is not at all universally accepted, even within the scientific community. Critics argue that quantum mechanics can be explained without invoking multiple realities, suggesting that the incredible computational power might just be a property of quantum physics within our one universe. But for those who find the many worlds interpretation compelling, quantum computing serves as a practical type of demonstration of what that theory might mean in action, a kind of indirect evidence for the existence of a multiverse. And you know, of course, they do this a lot. They'll make a claim, it's really just a guess, but then it gets in the headlines as if it's real evidence. But before we continue, because I'm going to talk about the biblical perspective on the multiverse and how quantum computing could actually fulfill some end times Bible prophecy. We're definitely going to talk about that. But first, watch this quick update clip on what's going on with Daily Renegade, my wife, kids, and I personally, and a few other things. Check this out. And I want to say too, for those who might be brand new to this channel, please do me a favor and subscribe. Click the bell to turn on all notifications. And if you haven't had a chance to do so already, head on over to dailyrenegade.com and get a membership today. It's only $10 a month or $100 a year. Now, why do you want a membership? It's because videos like this sometimes get censored. I don't know if this one will or not. Sometimes when we talk about things like this, YouTube gets rid of it or says that we can't play it. Well, we put all of those videos, we put every video that I do goes on dailyrenegade.com. And many times on YouTube, I can only put up half the video. So not only that, but you also get early access. So members of Daily Renegade get videos before anybody on YouTube, even when I do put the full video up. Excuse me. So there's also a community tab where we all talk and fellowship together, and it's a great place. So dailyrenegade.com, it's basically like a censorship-free version of YouTube and Facebook put together. Just no censorship, none of the garbage, none of the trolls. There's no trolls there because trolls are pathetic. They're not going to spend their own money to troll people. They'll do that on YouTube for free. Also, I want to make mention that I mentioned this in a previous video, but so for those not familiar, our car was totaled. My wife and our 5 kids were in the car at the time. I was at home. Thankfully, they're all okay. My wife has got some back issues from it that she needs adjustments for, and something, maybe surgery, hopefully not, but overall, everybody's okay. But she was hit by a semi-truck, and the truck company is, of course, not admitting fault, even though my wife was, Christina, she was at a stoplight, and the truck ran the light, hit her, and there's witnesses all around. We have like 3 or 4 witnesses that the police took statements. So it's clear that the semi-truck driver was in the fault, but of course, this is how these things go. They're not admitting fault and they're dragging their feet. So in the meantime, while it's possible, we might, and we've had to get a lawyer, which of course all this stuff is just crazy. And while we might get, reimbursed for all this at some point in the future, we don't know when that's going to be. When Christina was in 8th grade, she was in a terrible car accident that almost took her life. And they had to fight in the courts for like 3 years over that. And that was a drunk driver. That was like an obvious, she wasn't at fault. But anyway, all that to say, a lot of people have been asking like where to donate. I do have all of that information in the description below, but I'll put it on the screen as well. PayPal is the best place, but we also have CashApp. We have a PO box, things like that. And I do want to say that I'm extremely grateful to everybody who has donated. Really means a lot. And it's funny because, this is the 3rd or 4th time that, it's when you're where God wants you, you're going to get attacks from the enemy constantly. And that does happen. But since we, and I recently moved to Oklahoma City to work at Prophecy Watchers, and I have zero doubt this is exactly where God wants us. And then since we've moved, though, all of these outside strange things have been happening. But God is providing as well. So this is probably like the 2nd or 3rd time that we've had to drain our savings over something like this. Like the first one was to sell our house, which was in Illinois. And we lost tens of thousands of dollars on that sale, but we were able to sell it, and God's providing. So we were building back up our savings, and then all of a sudden this car thing happened, and our car is totaled, so we had to get a new car. And we have a family of 7, so we needed at least a 7 or 8 seater, at least, which do not come cheap, unfortunately. So if you care to donate, if you want to help out, you can. And even if not financially, keep us in prayer, because God has been providing. He's been doing great. Not obviously, Prophecy Watchers has been helping a lot, and everybody's been helping, and so. Also, if you want, for Nathan, my son Nathan, he's in remission of cancer, and he's got a lot of after care, like a lot of, like, the chemo totally damaged his body, and it's going to take years to repair that. But we're going the all natural route, which isn't covered by insurance, of course. So we're taking donations for that as well. So all the donation information is on the screen and is in the description below. Also, I want to make mention, too, for those of you who follow this channel and you know about the Dead Sea Scroll, the Essene calendar, we do have the 2025 version available now. It is, so basically what it is, it's the Essene Dead Sea Scroll prophetic calendar that you can hang on your wall. And then, so that's the bottom page, and then the top page is the Gregorian calendar. So you can actually see which date we're on the Essene calendar in correspondence to our own calendar. Really easy to follow. But those are for sale now, and it's for the year 2025 on our calendar anyway. And that would be what, like 59.49 or something like that on the Essene calendar. But anyway, if you'd like that, there's links in the description below for that, or you can get them at dailyrenegade.com or biblefacts.org, Dr. Ken Johnson's website. And all proceeds from the calendar sales goes to support both our ministries. So you're supporting 2 great ministries. Yeah, and all that being said, I mean, you should check out the other links in there. I have live streaming for this conference that we're at now, the Branson Prophecy Conference, and you definitely want to check that out. But we have live streaming available. There's a coupon code in the description below. It's just Peck Branson, all one word, all caps, PECKBRANSON. Use that promo code at checkout, and then you'll once you check out, you'll have access to You'll have access to all the speakers. A lot of the people that watch here live, we have 2 rooms, and there will be 2 presentations going on at the same time, so they have to pick and choose. Well, if you sign up for the live streaming, then you get everything, and you get, Jonathan Kahn has been here, he's been talking, Ellie Marzulli, myself, I've done 2 presentations, Dr. Ken Johnson, Larry Olison, who else? I mean, it's a pretty much anybody that you could think of in terms of the kind of prophecy stuff that we do. Bill Salas is here. He's been great. So there's a lot of stuff there. But if you want more information about the conference, you can check out prophecywatchers.com. Okay, I think that is everything. I think that's the update and all the announcements. Just go ahead and check all those links in the description below. There's more stuff there, like about silver sales. I mean, it's a great time to get involved in protecting your assets against this economy. And also, from what Terry Saka, AAMS, from Cornerstone Asset Metals, is the only metal company that I trust because they're Christian and they run it like a ministry and they're honest. But from what he was telling me, it's a great time to get involved with silver because once Trump takes office, a lot of things are gonna go up. So that's good news, and we need it. The economy needs it. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend doing it. CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Link is in the description below. All right, thank you for watching. Let's get right back into it. So let's talk about a biblical perspective on the multiverse. So here's where we kind of pause for a moment. As Christians, we're taught from the Bible about one creation, one universe under the sovereignty of one God. Is it possible that there's an interpretation of the Bible where multiple parallel universes exist? Yeah, but you can't really find it in the text. There's a lot of things that are possible that you can't find in the text. So the many worlds interpretation, suggesting infinite realities, does not quite mesh up with what the Bible tells us about creation. The Bible talks about heaven and hell as distinct places, not as parallel universes where every version of history unfolds. And I will say there's a difference between what we're talking about today, many worlds. There's a difference between that and the idea that extra dimensions could exist. And I definitely believe that that's true. But this would not be parallel realities where different versions of us exist. This is a totally different thing. We know that our universe is made up of 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. So we have, up, down, we have side to side, we have forward, backward. So we know of 3. Well, the idea is that there might be a 4th, 5th, 6th, on and upwards, more dimensions, more extra dimensions. And that possibly might have to do with heaven or hell or some of these other spiritual realms that we believe in as Christians. But that's a very, very different thing than saying that there are multiple universes where multiple versions of us exist. And that gets into all sorts of problems. By the way, if you're interested in this topic, I write a lot about it in my book, Quantum Creation, which is available right now at prophecywatchers.com. It's actually in I think they have it in a set with my other book, Cherubim Chariots. So prophecywatchers.com. The book is Quantum Creation if you want more about multiverse theory and extra dimensions and things like that. But I just wanted to make that clear. Parallel universes is not the same as saying extra dimensions. So again, we know that the Bible talks about other realms, heaven and hell, and those are distinct places, but it doesn't describe these as parallel universes where every possible version of history unfolds. So our faith teaches us that while there are spiritual realms, the concept of a multiverse where every decision branches into infinite realities does not really seem to align with scriptural teaching. So Genesis 1:1 starts with, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and that suggests a singular, purposeful creation. Ephesians 4:6 speaks of one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all, emphasizing unity with creation and governments. And think about it this way. We know there's one Jesus, right? So you can't, if there's parallel versions of us, you can't have parallel versions of Jesus. There's only one. So is he having to die on the cross and all of these infinite realities? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit. So while quantum computing is a marvel, its theoretical implications on the nature of reality, that challenges our faith's understanding of a singular divine order. When they say things like this is evidence of the multiverse, when really it's not. They're guessing. So how do we reconcile all this? Well, science and faith often seem to walk parallel paths, but they don't have to be at odds. So quantum computing, and this is mainly what we talked about before, the difference between observation and interpretation. A lot of things that are just interpretations are called science, and it's really not. They're guesses. They're hypotheses. Quantum computing's potential to solve problems can be seen as utilizing parts of God's creation. It could be because God created these particles to operate this way, right? Like quantum entanglement, all of this stuff. And by utilizing that, you could say that quantum computing's potential to solve problems can be seen as part of God's creation, a tool for human advancement. But however, the leap of saying it proves a multiverse is speculative. And by the way, saying that it's a tool for human advancement, that's on the positive side. That's on the non-cynical side. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute because there's a darker side, obviously, to all of this. But we can appreciate the technological advancement while questioning, the philosophical extrapolation. So, extrapolation, excuse me. So just because we can compute in ways that seem to transcend our understanding doesn't mean that we have to accept every scientific hypothesis about reality. Observation versus interpretation, there is a difference. So remember, science often moves from one theory to another as new evidence comes to light. The multiverse is a hypothesis, not a confirmed reality. And our faith, rooted in scripture, provides us a way to understand the world that doesn't bend with every new scientific theory. So let's talk about prophecy. So how might quantum computing play a role in the prophecies that we read about in the Bible? This is the dark side of this that we talk about. It is when it comes to quantum computing, it can do some amazing things, but it's we're not seeing this through rose-colored glasses. It's not all good. There's a lot of dangers here. Imagine if one country or a leader got their hands on this technology first. They could break any code, see into every secret, control how information spreads across the world, and that's kind of spooky when you think about it in the context of Revelation 13:7, which talks about one power ruling over everything. Suddenly, quantum computing doesn't just sound like a tech upgrade. It sounds like a tool for someone to gain the kind of control that we're warned about in prophecy. Now, we've been told by Jesus in Luke 21:28 to watch for signs that point to his coming. And those aren't always good signs, and quantum computing might be one of those signs. It's like we're living in times where knowledge is exploding, just like Daniel 12:4 says. With quantum computers, we're not just talking about, better video games or faster internet. We're talking about potentially solving the mysteries of life, understanding our DNA better, or even using AI in ways that we haven't imagined. And what do you think sinful human beings are going to do with that type of power? With great power comes great potential for misuse. If this technology falls into the wrong hands, which any sinful human would probably be the wrong hands, then we could see a world where privacy vanishes, control over information could mean control over everything, and this does echo those end time prophecies. But here's where it gets even more interesting. What if quantum computing helps set the stage for the Antichrist? With the power to manipulate data on an unprecedented scale, someone could deceive the world like never before. Think about it. Control over information means control over what people think, what people believe, what people fear, even. And this could align with biblical warnings of this Antichrist figure who deceives the nations. It's a scenario where the technology of quantum computing could either be a force for good or a tool for fulfilling prophecy in ways that we're just beginning to grasp. And, seeing the state of the world today and how easily people in power can fall into corruption, I don't see a lot of good that can come from quantum computing in light of the dangers. Of course, and it's like with any technology, there can be good uses for it, but how likely is that to be utilized when the temptation for power and control is present? I think that temptation is too great for most people, much of the world. So yeah, again, I just don't see a whole lot of good that can come from quantum computing in the light of the dangers and just how the state of the world and the people that would be utilizing this. And that's why we as Christians, we have to stay vigilant, discerning, and rooted in our faith as we see these technologies, evolve. So, back to the claims of parallel realities, quantum computing is a fascinating field for sure, and there is a lot of potential there, but its implications for a multiverse theory are absolutely in the realm of speculation. There's not evidence for that. And as believers, we can engage with these ideas, we can question them, and we can even use them to deepen our understanding of God's creation without compromising our biblical worldview, and that's what's key. We live in, from what it seems, by all available evidence, and including not just scientific evidence but biblical evidence at all. From what we can gather, we live in one universe under one God with one plan of salvation. It is not an infinite sprawl of realities where every possibility exists. In many ways, that's actually impossible, and I've talked about that in other videos. So with that said, let's keep learning, let's keep questioning and growing in both our faith and our understanding of the world, always remembering that the ultimate truth lies with God, not in the latest scientific claim. So hopefully that helps. I've been getting a lot of questions about that. Have they proven the multiverse theory with this new quantum chip, with this new Willow chip? No, they haven't. This is a way that they speak sensationally like this because they know it'll get headlines. Ultimately, it could lead to funding. And news sources love sensationalizing this stuff because scientists really make it easy to sensationalize based on how they talk about it, the words that they choose to use. So it's all deliberate. But no, the multiverse has not been proven. There's not even evidence for it. Not really. And there's a lot working against it, which I've talked about in plenty of other videos that you can find at dailyrenegade.com. So, all that being said, thank you so much for, watching. Again, please subscribe, click the bell to turn on all notifications. Check out all of the links that I have in the description below. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. And, we'd love to see you over at Daily Renegade, and we can continue the conversation there in the community tab or in the comments on the video at dailyrenegade.com. So see you there. All that being said, love you all, take care, and God bless.